everybody. It's Box Seats, the show where we talk about sports with comedians. And before I go any further, y'all notice those pictures? Those pictures look like prime pictures. Talent, my man, Talent in the building. You saw those pictures, Talent? Everybody's picture look pristine, right? They look right. What y'all to know? That's how they do. Talent, how you doing, bro?
You feel good, huh? You feel good.
I feel. Yes, you saw that picture.
You got my color on, man. That's my high school colors right here, man.
Yeah.
So we're doing it up, man. I'm feeling good, brother. Happy Tuesday.
Yes, sir. I'm feeling really good too. My man Fig is in the building too. Fig, what's up? What's the deal, bro?
Hey man, it's a good day in the neighborhood. Getting ready to do what we do. Let's talk about it. Everything.
Mr. Rodney Perry's in the building too. Rodney Perry, how you doing today, sir?
Man, forget them damn pictures. Bringing up all kind of old shit. I asked you for that video 1,000 times. You don't even know how to get it to me.
It doesn't change the fact I don't like the picture. Doesn't change the fact.
Oh God! Well, we still got to look at your real face.
That's all right. My real face. Watch it. Look at it. Watch this. It's GQ. It's coming right now. Watch it. See that?
Well done.
That was more like Word Up Cup. Word Up.
Oh God! Not the Word Up.
Shout out to Word Up.
Frank out here trying to get on his Ben Simmons.
That was
wow.
Okay, all right. I'll let you get that one. Ben Simmons has some fly stuff going.
That's what I was saying.
Now they've been criticizing him on his clothes, though. Stephen A. Smith implied that because he had nice clothes on, that he should be playing. I'm like, are you serious?
But the outfit he had on was the game 3 in Brooklyn with the colorful thing. That was dope. The one he wore after that, he did look like Gumby. The one before that with the colorful.
I don't know about any of those.
Well, he looked like he was wearing all the team colors. All
everything in the league.
Hey man, all I'm saying is, if my team is playing the Celtics, I'm not coming to the game sitting on the bench wearing green.
You definitely can't wear green to a Celtics game.
Yeah, you shouldn't even be
stupid.
But in his defense, he may be colorblind.
Well, look, they did a shot where they panned in the audience in the front row was a leprechaun. He had on red.
Wow.
So why you gonna wear green, brother?
Because it ain't easy being green. You heard Kermit.
So let's get ready to get the show started. Today, Mike Sean's supposed to obviously host. So I'm hosting today. Maybe he'll do it tomorrow. No, tomorrow will be Fig tomorrow, right? Fig, you hosting tomorrow?
Yeah,
we're gonna get it. We're gonna do something different. We're gonna change some stuff up. So anyway, right before we got in town, right before we jumped on the show, just literally 2 minutes, 3 minutes before we jumped in the show, some news dropped about Jerry West being really, really upset about the producers at Winning Time. So before we jump into the NBA, I gotta talk to my man T about this, man. I know you've been watching the show, Winning Time. Talent. My biggest problem with Winning Time is, now mind you, I like the storyline, but none of the brothers look like the dude don't look like Magic. The dude is supposed to be Kareem, don't look like Kareem. But the Jerry West dude looks like Jerry West. That's my biggest thing. But Jerry West, the real Jerry West, does not like the storyline that's being perceived in HBO's show Winning Time. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's supposed to be the story of the Lakers dynasty. T, what's your thoughts about this, bro?
Well, first of all, I think that the guy they casted for Magic is perfect, because if you go back and look at a young Magic, he looks like Magic. He wears that smile and the accent and everything. I think he's doing a phenomenal job. But I understand Jerry West being upset and wanting to sue because the cat is out of the bag. People hate when the cat's out of the bag. Like, you have this persona that's larger than life. You're the logo. So everybody respect you. They love you for the game, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of people don't get close to you, so they don't know you are the big a-hole. And this show, from the beginning, portrays him as the biggest a-hole you could ever meet in your life. So I understand why he's upset, because character assassination.
Yeah, I understand that too, because character assassination is everything in this business, right, Fig? When you've been trying to be an actor and everything else, and you're trying to be seen as one thing. I know you know about this, Fig. Talk to me. What you think?
Jerry West is 175 years old. Go sit your old dust farting behind down. This is a TV show. It's loosely based on the characters. You can't sue a TV show that is loosely based. Hell, documentaries aren't 100% accurate. Reality shows aren't real. Who the hell are you suing, Jerry?
I don't know about that, Fig. According to Rodney Perry, according to him and his attorneys, he says he can sue. I think honestly, I think Rodney Perry, I think they should be worried about some scenes. They all look like they about 5'10", 5'11". Other scenes they make look do like it. I'm like, y'all get it right. You gonna play this high? I'd be more concerned about that if you're trying to make it real. Like, but Rodney, what's your take on this?
I love the show. I've been watching it. I think the Magic Johnson character is dead on. I think the Kareem character is dead on. I mean, of course, these aren't the real people, so they won't be exact replicas of the real guys. I mean, we talking about, you know, a guy in Kareem that's 7 foot tall, a guy in Magic that's what 6'10",
6'9",
6'10". So I mean, these are special people. But as far as portraying these roles, Magic was getting his smash on left and right. We get to see that. We get to see Jerry West. And I think Tyler makes a great point. And I didn't know Jerry West was wild like that.
Right.
You know,
right.
and I didn't know Jerry West didn't want the job as the coach of the Lakers and all of that stuff. So it's nuance that I didn't know about. And so, but I get it. But you know what else is happening with this show is that there's other productions about the Lakers so Magic is complaining. He's got a show coming down the pipe. Also,
Magic show's on Apple right now.
Yeah, it's on.
It's on.
Right,
yeah.
but that's like a documentary of Magic though, Magic life.
Right.
Am I right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not as much as the dramatization, but I like some stuff creatively they did in terms of breaking the third wall and doing some, you know, they just look to the camera and go, what? You know, I like that stuff. And so I think the show is great, man. I've been watching them and following it.
All I know is that the Lakers ain't in the playoffs and they still get people talking about them because of this show right now while we talk about the NBA player. You know what I'm like, man, the Lakers has found a way to be able to talk about just drive me nuts. All right, so
the machine that is the Lakers is real, you know, and like the machine that is the Knicks. The Knicks haven't been relevant in 30 years, and we still talk about them.
Yeah, that's true. That, you know, NBA makes sure they do it because it's all about the money, right? Right, T? It's all about the money. So before we talk about the Brooklyn Nets game, you know, I can't wait to talk about.
Y'all gonna let that slide?
Yeah, I let it. I did. I did.
Because it was so good.
Frank is a Celtics fan. That's why he let it slide.
I purposely let it slide and act like I didn't hear it. T, I'm gonna start out with you, man. I don't know if you saw. Of course, the Brooklyn Nets game was a big game. But what nobody's talking about, or not as much as they should be talking about to me, is the Toronto Raptors went up and snatched Game 5 from the Sixers. And to me, I think that's going to be a huge thing because I really feel in my heart of heart, man, is that if Doc Rivers loses this series after going up, and they were losing this, they were 2-0, and I think they're now 2-1, and then they lost. I'm like, I'm saying to myself, if they lose this series, he's gonna get fired. I think he's gonna get fired, T, because it'll be another series he was up when and had a dominant team. T, talk to me. You think he's gonna get fired?
Yeah, you might be on to something. I love Doc Rivers. I really love Doc Rivers. But how many times can you get fired? But for the powers that be, like we could. Think about that. That's the first thing they do with your resume is they run down your old job. God damn, you got let go at 88 by IBM. You got let go by Gucci.
IBM.
First of all, you look at your resume, you see weird stuff. You see Walmart, IBM, and Gucci. What's really going on? But yeah, you got a good point, man. If he loses this series, because the type of year they had and the expectations, especially this year with Embiid and championship or bust, you might be onto something, Frank. I wouldn't bet against you. I'll tell you that. They might be firing the brother.
And Fig, they're going to Toronto. They're playing in Toronto. The Toronto Raptors play very good in Toronto. Not to mention the COVID situation. One player's gonna have to sit down. I'm telling you, I got a sneaky feeling about this one right now. Now let's see. It's 3-2, right, Fig? It's 3-2, right?
Yeah, I think so. No. Wait, it's 2. Wait a minute. It's 2-2, right?
It's 3-2.
It should be 3-2, right? And the next game should be going back.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, there's some people out there who's shaky, right?
Yeah, game 6, they go home, so they got a shot. They got a hell of a shot.
Yeah, it's 2-3, but it's 2-3, but the Sixers are up.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The next game's in Toronto, and then the Toronto can tie the series in Toronto.
Yeah,
I think there's a problem because anything can happen Game 7. So I'm saying right now it's 3-2.
Yeah,
going to Toronto. right now. So Fig, talk to me. What you think?
Man, listen, I called this. I was like, look, if you play in Toronto and some of your players can't play because they didn't get their vaccination, it's going to compromise your team. Then you got James Harden, which is a declining shell of himself, possibly.
Wow.
Listen, he is a shell of the James Harden that we saw in Houston. That's not the same James Harden on the Sixers, the one that was in Houston. That's not the same dude. So here we go. Then you got Joel Embiid talking about, and then I done hurt my finger. It hurt me. And then I can't pray like because my finger. So you got James Harden that ain't playing. You got Thibault that can't play because of the vaccination. And you got James Harden that's a shell of himself. Toronto is a well-oiled machine because I don't care who you got on the floor. Them boys is playing. Sixers could be in trouble. But if Doc gets fired, the Lakers will pick him up.
Okay, all right. Rodney Perry, what's your take on this situation? Because at the end of the day, bro, some head is going to roll if the Sixers lose in the first round.
I mean, let's start here. Fig is losing his damn mind. The man is not complaining about his finger. His finger is absolutely hurt, but he haven't complained one iota. I mean, he's playing through the pain. He's probably the one athlete that should be sitting down somewhere with an injury to his hand. And that's going to affect everything because he's the guy on that team. So is it Doc Rivers' fault? He's going to take the blame as per usual, but this is going to fall on the shoulders of Embiid with him being injured, man. And I mean, it's something you couldn't foresee. It's not COVID; it's an injury, and sorry to see it happen. But I have no faith in the Raptors at all to do nothing positive.
Yo, Frank. Joel Embiid said, "E.T. out."
Hey. I'm asking you this right now. Do you think now, looking back on it, that the trade benefited more the Sixers than T? Do you think the trade benefited more the Sixers than the Nets? Because the trade happened, and I'm not sure. Right
Everybody is saying that the Sixers have won the trade because Harden is panning out better than the yellow man. But the reality is, I mean, we don't know. I mean, according to Fig, Harden is horrible.
Yeah, but
I agree with that. I agree with Fig. Harden is horrible for what they thought they were getting. If you were just getting a regular mediocre guy, he fits that role. But let's keep it real. This is James Harden. I think that this trade right now is hovering upon equal. The only way that the Sixers can edge out being a winner of that trade is if they survive this series.
Well, I'll tell you this. If they had still had the Curry kid and they still had that big kid in the middle and everything else, the things might have been different. I don't think they would have been in such a
Andre Drummond.
Drummond. I don't think
I think the problem is the Sixers gave away a good portion of their bench to get James Harden. They gave away Curry. They gave away Ben Simmons, who wasn't playing at all. It's really not a loss. And then you give away Andre Drummond. Man, that's a lot to contend with. You know what I mean? James Harden not being look. I'm not saying he's a bum. I'm not saying that he's a scrub. He's a formidable NBA player. He's a star. Is he the same James Harden that we had in Houston? Not even close. He's not that dude. He's not blowing by players like he used to on the drive, and his three-pointer is not falling like he used to. But is he serviceable? Absolutely. He's 2010. That's an excellent basketball player, but the James Harden that we see now is definitely not the one from Houston. And the fact that Joel Embiid has an injured
But he was losing in Houston. Why are you talking about Houston?
Because he's not that they traded for him because that's the player
they didn't trade Houston to get him though. He was in the Nets. Why are we talking about Houston? That's 2 teams ago.
They thought they were getting a different version.
They didn't think they was getting a guy from Houston. He was fat in Houston.
When he was playing at his best in Houston, that is the guy that they
they didn't get the guy from OKC either.
And let me just tell you this. If they thought all they was getting with this dude, do you think they would have gave up all of those players to get James? They gave up Simmons. They gave up Curry. They gave up Drummond. They gave up so many players for one dude.
I'll concede that. So we're not GMs. So it's somebody in the office with a suit on that made a decision and they don't know what the fuck they doing?
Yeah, the hell yeah, they make mistakes all the time. I got a suit, I can do better. I would love to be the GM of the Knicks. I'm telling you, I would love to be the GM of the Knicks. I'd get me some real players. I'd get me some Latrell Chokum Sprewells.
How did Knicks come into this conversation? Like, how did we ain't talk about the Knicks? Let's not talk about the Knicks.
I know.
Let's not talk about that.
Talk about basketball and a Nick fall out his mouth. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna start with you with the game I want to talk about, the series I want to talk about. The Brooklyn Nets, they walked off the court. They got swept with the best tandem in the league. They're the only team that did not have a win in the playoffs, right? If you're the Brooklyn Nets, after last night's loss to the Celtics and everything else, what are your thoughts when you're walking off the court, your management, your players, and everything else? And I'll say this before you say this, anything. Kyrie, what he said after, and what KD said, what he said after was like night and day. You know what I mean? Kyrie did not own up. KD did. I like what KD said. I didn't like what Kyrie said. If I'm a Nets fan, but what's your take? You're
wait a minute. What did they say, Frank? So we could address what did they say?
Okay. This is what he said. Kyrie said they had off the field, obviously issues and everything else. He said, but this is the quick key thing. He said, me, KD, and then he named two management and everything else, had to figure out what we're going to do to move forward to help manage this team. KD came out of his mouth and said immediately, listen, the Celtics were the better team. I don't want to play this. We can't say that what we did and everything else. You just said, no, flat out, the Celtics were the better team. He owned up to it, you know. But no, Kyrie said everything else but that. So that's my take. But the Celtics look really good. T, what's your take on the Brooklyn Nets Celtics series overall?
I mean, you're still owning up. I mean, either way, it's just two different versions of owning up. You got one that's taking the high road of giving the props to the winning team, and then you got one that's more thinking mechanicalism, like, how do I fix my team? Like, how do I fix this slow leak? You know what I mean? So they're both saying their version of how they see what went wrong. And I get Kyrie's response, because keep in mind, he knows when he looks at his numbers and he goes to look at those tapes, he knows he's 1,000% better than that as a player, and he didn't get it done. I mean, granted, Ramadan has a big factor in that. We all know about that strength and agility and all that when you're working on less to eat and drink and stuff like that. But bottom line is, I just look at it like two different versions of what happened. When you lose, you can look at it two ways. You can just say, man, he was better than me. Or you could go, man, why I didn't throw my right? Or why I didn't take him to the left? Or why didn't I do the pick and roll? Because that's what everybody does. When it's all said and done, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Even we did that last night in the feed, talking, and Mike went to the coulda, woulda, shoulda. And I was like, Mike, really? That's what we're doing? We're doing coulda, woulda? I thought we was going with just the facts. If we go with just the facts, KD's a bigger all-star and the best, player in the league. He has to take that high road for the NBA.
All right, so Fig, the Nets literally acknowledged that there was an apparent issues that cost them during the season, that cost them the series. They owned up to that last night. They said that all this drama that happened throughout this whole season is the reason why they lost this series. You agree with that statement?
Well, listen, I would say this. The one caveat to this that we're not talking about, if we talk about Kyrie, is Ramadan is every year. So every year in the playoffs, like every other Muslim that observes Ramadan, it happens. Akeem Olajuwon, Abdul Rahif, like all of the Muslim players, they all go through that observe Ramadan. They all go through this particular thing. The thing is that a lot of them grew up with it, and Kyrie seems to be very new to it. So maybe it's affecting his body a little differently. He hasn't able to prepare. But let me tell you this. When Kyrie said, me and KD have to sit with management, I was like, who is this? Like, who is he? Calvin from the new management team on McDonald's? Like, who told you that you get to make decisions with management? Kyrie, you ain't played but 4 games all season. What are you talking about? If you would have showed up, they probably wouldn't have been in this position. Look, vaccine, yes, no, maybe, whatever. That's your personal business. But the fact that you wasn't on the floor 90% of this entire season is probably is most likely the reason why Kevin Durant was overworked, and that that the Brooklyn Nets was in the 7th seed as opposed to being high up in the rankings. and probably could have had an easier first round to be able to get their cohesiveness together and be able to move forward into the playoffs and maybe see Boston somewhere down the line.
You know what the problem was, Rodney Perry? The problem was, I think he said it because he has the opt-in. Kyrie has the opt-in option this season. Like, he could opt in and extend his contract. So I think he was throwing a little subtle dig, Rodney Perry, to let management know, I'm going to still be part of this team, and I have the option to opt in or opt out. And nobody thinks he's going to opt out, Rodney Perry. Everybody thinks he's going to opt in and extend his time. That's why they asked him literally after the game, what you going to do? You going to opt in, opt out? You know what I mean? Rodney Perry, what's your thoughts? Your microphone's off. Rodney, your
mic is off, Rod. Your mic is off.
There you go.
There we go.
Here goes. I mean, the guy definitely has options, but he has been bounced around over the last, 10 years, whether it was Boston or Cleveland or ending up on the Nets. I think he's found a home. But at the same time, Fig is not totally off base in terms of the guy wasn't there, so he's probably got to take a hard look. While I feel like he feels he made the right decision, he has to look at that decision now. And, I don't think enough credence is given to the regular season across the board in the NBA. And so now this season, we're kind of looking at the regular season is not just a throwaway. Whether you're the Lakers or whether you're the Nets, you got to take a real look at the regular season and go, yo, we can't just guarantee ourselves we're going to make it to the playoffs.
Interesting thought, because Tyler, at the end of the day, if I'm like Stephen A. been saying this for the last 3 days, if I'm management of the Brooklyn Nets, I agree to him one thing. I would literally do him on a year-to-year contract because that brother ain't played a full season. I don't think he played a full season in years. You know what I mean?
Never. He's never played a full season.
See,
never. The most games he's ever played is up to in the 60s. He's never played a full season. That's right.
He had 4 seasons, 64 seasons. I'm doing the year-to-year contract. That's what I'm doing. Am I tripping?
You ain't doing no year-to-year if you don't take the deal.
There you go. That's the issue. It's like you're paying to get what you know that you're getting. You're getting a high top 10 player in this league. We can't. The unforeseen is that's why they call it the unforeseen. You can't see that. COVID, vaccines. Who the hell could see that? Nobody could see that. When it hit, and everybody had to adjust, including a guy who moral or religious values said, "I don't want to take the vaccine," and there was all type of restrictions and penalties. You can't. Nobody could buy stuff like this, bro. I bought a Range Rover. She was a lemon. Who knew?
He killed me with that. All right, so I'm gonna start with you with this one.
Still mad.
Well, hold on. Can I address that?
Yes, you can.
If it was just a vaccine, that would be different. Kyrie took off for personal reasons and then went to some family function or some wedding.
That was last season, like Fig.
Then another.
That was last season, Fig.
Hold on. Let me finish. And then when November 6th, when those folks attacked the Capitol, he was so distraught he couldn't play there neither. So it's just like whatever the weather or however the wind blows, Kyrie just said, I'm distraught. He worshiped Ben Simmons. I can't play. I'm so distraught. I can't go a year to year. And if you want to go, deuces.
Hey,
you ain't going to
you
go
guys.
nowhere. The best ability is availability. If you're not available, you can't help me.
But how about this, guys? Y'all be the first one to talk about mental health. Then when a guy exercises his rights, y'all be the first one to throw him under the bus. Y'all talking about Ben Simmons. The guy is real deal injured.
He didn't say mental health.
Bro, I was just going to say the same thing. Fig,
go ahead.
You don't have to say. People who are going through mental problems don't have to make that announcement. They just got to do what's best for them. And if that means taking time off and disconnecting with the team and getting away or getting therapy is in everybody's own different thing. I take therapy. I don't go sit with an actual therapist to, when I go through my therapy, I got my own way. People got their own thing. You sit on here and it's hypocritical to say, oh, mental illness is real and we need to blah, blah, blah. And in the minute the dude take 5 games here and there, they screw him, sign
I
him to
didn't
1
say
game.
that's not what I'm saying. That's not my point. I'm
But
just
it's
saying.
not just you though, Fig. It's the power that be that talk sports on TV. It's like come on, guys, y'all saying the guy should be playing and he ain't ready.
All right, hold up. So let's just say this: how long has Kyrie been in the league? He's played 60 games, maybe about 3-4 times. He takes off a lot. It's not just this year. It's not just COVID. It's not
Is
just
he great?
Christmas.
Is he a
It's
great
not
player?
just November 6th. He takes off a lot.
Is he a great player?
And that could be a mental problem, Fig.
What then somebody got to address that. If that's
No, they don't. That's the point. I don't have to broadcast to you.
Then I don't listen.
If he's still regarded as a great player, I mean, that's a non-issue.
Listen, as a Knicks fan, I love it because you mean to tell me the Nets now have 2 mental cases on their team? I'll take it. You got Kyrie and Ben Simmons, and they both are too mentally destroyed to be able to play. I love it. I love it because I'm a Knicks fan. You should have came to the Knicks, and since you didn't, I don't care. We could have got rid of your mental issues because you've been playing at the Garden instead of the Barclays Center.
Or got more. Or got more. You know what the funny thing was that whole thing? Talon said mental health. If it was me, I'd have did that. I was like, and I was saying to myself, Negro, no, you wouldn't. You would have been at the bar. That would have been at the bar. Talking about he has some issues. You would have been right at the bar.
Let me get a Heineken. Matter of fact, give me 2.
All right, so you know the funny thing about this is that it seems like injuries is taking its toll on almost everybody in the playoffs. And right now, Jazz is up with Donovan Mitchell because guess what? He got a hamstring issue and he limped off the court last night. And the Mavericks was smoking them last night. I saw that game last night. They were smoking them. The Mavericks ended up winning 102-77. Right now, it looked like Donovan Mitchell's going for an MRI. That's his 4th seed versus the 5th seed. It's really a toss-em-up seed. You know what I mean? Toss-em-up series. But I'm not going to lie. I did expect Utah to take out that series. Utah's in jeopardy of losing the series, I think, T. T, what's your take on this? Looks like Jason Kidd, the Dallas Mavericks coach, is doing a good thing out there. I'm liking the series, bro. What's your take?
Well, I'm rooting for Donovan and the Jazz, but to be honest with you, after watching that game and watching Luka come back, and this is a slow Luka. He's already a slow player, but this is a super slow, get my wind back in me. He was on fire.
Mm-hmm.
He was on fire. He was doing some Steph Curry stuff last night, from the range point of view. And they might lose this, bro. I hope they don't. You know, I love Donovan Mitchell. I'm an advocate for bringing him to the Knicks. Me and his father, we drink it up and chop it up. Salute to the Mitchell family. I want them to win, but to be honest with you, looking at last night's game, and even Luka laughing in the post press conference, talking about, I got winded and I got my wind back, and just a little fatigue, just trying to. That's too happy-go-lucky in the playoffs. He was like, "Oh, it was good. Popcorn was not popcorn."
But Fig, I'll say this too. When you have fights in series too, some fights could turn around, change the team too. Because there was a fight not necessarily a fight, a skirmish. People shoving each other and everything else. There was a skirmish last night between and let me make sure I get this right. There was obviously Luka ended up having a little tussle and everything else. I was watching the game actually as it happened. Utah Jazz, Hassan Whiteside, Luka was falling forward. You know, he fell on the ground. He little kind of lunges. He was falling into Whiteside. Whiteside tried to help him up. And then obviously a couple other players from Dallas came on, and it just got real ugly real quick. What's your take on the skirmish? What's your take on could that turn the series around for Utah? What you think, Fig?
Absolutely not. First off, there is no Jazz in Utah. Let's just get that out of the way. I said that before. I'm saying it again. If you want to have a Jazz team, you need to put them down in New Orleans. Put the Pelicans in Utah. Ain't no Pelicans in Utah either, but that's where they need to be. Anyway, with the injury of Donovan Mitchell with a hamstring and the emergence of and the comeback a Luka Doncic, man. This kid is he's just next level, man. He plays slow like the Joker does. You know what I mean? He's a slow motion player, but he's extremely efficient, man. He gets to his spots, he gets the shot off, man. And this kid is just an all-star. He's carrying that team with a lot of injuries and stuff like that. When it comes down to it, I gotta pick without Donovan Mitchell. You gotta go with Dallas, man. Because it's like a no contest. They was beating them with Doncic on the floor. With Donovan Mitchell on the floor. Now, I love Donovan Mitchell. I'd love to see him in the Knicks uniform, like talent. I would love to see him, man, because I think the kid is next level all-star. But if he's injured, you're not beating Dallas with a Luka Doncic with no Donovan Mitchell. That's not happening.
Right, Rodney Perry, you think Donovan Mitchell will be out of Utah if they lose this series, Rodney?
I don't know if it matters, to be honest. I mean, like you said, these are the middle of the road teams. Nobody cares. I wish we didn't have to watch it, to be honest. I watched that game and I was upset with myself because I was like, yo, it's got to be something else on, and I was missing the other game. So Donovan injured. Yeah. Everybody.
You think he'd be out though, Ronnie? You think Donovan Mitchell will leave Utah if they lose?
He should leave, and New York might not be a bad place for him, you know, as far as the profile of it. But who wants the scrutiny of a New York audience? You know what I mean? I mean that's the tough part about going to New York. You got to deal with New Yorkers, and y'all don't play, you know. And so y'all like him now. Let him get out there. Let him get New York and mess up. I mean, I definitely like the guy though. I mean, before the game, he looked like he was doing his thug thizzle. But I think also that Dallas is just out coaching these guys, man.
Yeah, Jason Kidd's doing a good job. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
doing a great job. So last night I was watching too, and I saw a little clip of this too. I saw John Morant won the literally most improved player of the year, and I had a real problem with that, bro. I love John Morant. I ain't gonna front. I told you all about John Morant. I said that John Morant literally gonna be considered an MVP and he was. But my thing is Desmond Bain, John Morant, first of all, let me tell you the story. John Morant literally got the most improved player award. He got it, and he gave it to Desmond Bain, and I 100% agree with that because I didn't even know who Desmond Bain was literally 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This year, this boy balled out and got he literally helped turn the team around. When John Morant was hurt, they still only lost 2 games out of 15 because of that dude. So I think, in my opinion, he should have been considered for the most improved player of the year. Who's your take? Do you agree with John Morant, team, or do you think it should have been somebody else?
I don't agree with that. I think that I don't think it should have been John. I really had John in the runnings for the overall most valuable player. But just because you don't give him that, don't mean as a constellation you give him somebody else's award. I'm with you. There's other players that come into consideration. We talk about most improved. He was this good last year, but to me, it's a follow-up year, more consistency, right. More of the team is buying into it. You know, you have this continuity with the team that y'all a dope team. That shows how valuable you are. You know what I mean? And then the strides your team made collectively makes you MVP of the league. I think you're in that argument. I don't think you give them the most improved. I agree with you on that. That's whack.
All right, so I thought it was whack too because Fig, you got the kid from Cleveland, that guard from Cleveland. He did really, really well. I mean, there's a couple of other players. I'm sitting there saying John Morant was good the year before last, and he was good this year. You know what I mean? But Desmond Bain was literally nobody and became somebody and then he became more of a bigger player on the stage, on the playoff stage. Vic, what's your take?
That kid Bain is dangerous, man. That kid from the three, he's big, he's strong. He plays inside, outside. He's knocking down 3-pointers, damn near like he's Steph Curry. Not from his far, but I mean, like his percentage, his 3-point percentage is just out of this world, man. And like you said, when John Morant was on the bench with an injury, Desmond Bain was carrying the team, man. That kid is, man, I don't even know where he came from, man. I'm just like, yo, all of a sudden, this kid just showed up and on the biggest stage, He's lighting it up, man. I agree, Frank. I would lean towards Bane as opposed to Ja. I mean, Ja did get a little better, but he was really good last year. So I don't see the quantum leap. That's what I'm saying.
And let's not forget this either, Rodney Perry. Jordan Poole was bananas this year too. Jordan Poole was a dude who I didn't know was that good. Jordan Poole comes in literally with Golden State, and I'm sitting there saying, "Wow, this kid is a beast like that too." Wow, Golden State's gonna be proud. Even though what's his name, Daniel Dugas been saying it for a while, and he been talking about Weissman and everything else. I ain't see it and everything else, but Jordan Poole's good. Desmond Bane's good. To me, Rodney Perry, most improved player should be somebody from night and day. What's your take, Rodney Perry?
I mean, of course, Jordan Poole is definitely in that conversation. But how about this? The NBA does this type of stuff all the time. I mean, it's almost a consolation prize, which I think Tyler and Fig alluded to in terms of John not getting the MVP. And so it's like, yo, we can't give him an MVP this year, but let's do this for the guy. And it's almost his posturing back going, I don't deserve this. I don't want no consolation. Here, get this to my guy. So I'm not mad at it from either perspective. And I mean, he's still a great player, and hopefully he'll continue to play great, and we'll get to see him as the MVP eventually.
Yeah, but one thing you can't do is you can't take the trophy and give it back. You know, like you can't do that, job. Somebody got.
No, he didn't give it back. He gave it to somebody else.
That's what I mean. He gave it to Desmond Bain. I was like, you can't do that, bro. Like you can't do that.
No, he can do it. It just won't be acknowledged. I mean, when you look at the person that got the award, it'll still be his name there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I would be the first.
It's almost like Kevin Durant when he won an MVP, telling his mother, "You the real MVP." It's almost that kind of gesture. You know what I mean? Like recognize it.
I'll be like, "Yo, no disrespect. Take a shit back."
Yeah, but no disrespect. No disrespect. I ain't taking no trophy and putting it on my mantle with somebody else's name on it, even though he.
Whoever Kevin Durant's father is the real MVP because he put the anyway.
Yo, so yesterday, Rodney Perry, Talon said to me, Frank, you don't talk about rumors no more. So here's the hottest rumor. We talked about this before the show. The hottest rumor I heard before we jump into the NFL talk, the hottest rumor I heard is that Russell Westbrook is from the Lakers to the Knicks. That's what I heard, T.
Is this a Pelican brief? Is this got any chance to happen?
This is a real rumor. This is a real Rodney. This is a real rumor. It's a real rumor.
The question is, would the GM comedian Fig X make the same call?
Hell to the no.
I said if he can't take the scrutiny of LA, he damn sure can't take the scrutiny of New York.
I wouldn't pay Russell Westbrook nothing. I let alone $40 million. I wouldn't pay him 20. I wouldn't pay him 10 million, 5. I wouldn't pay him nothing. Wow. I don't want him on my team.
Okay. All right, so check it out, T.
He's still a Hall of Famer though, Fig, right?
That's good. Let me give him his Hall of Fame trophy on his way out. But I don't want him on my team.
Hold on. Biggest trade that you all think is going to happen in the NBA off season. What do you think is going to be the biggest trade with what team? And then we're going to move on to the NFL. T, I'm going to throw it to you. I have my Pelican brief, Rodney Perry. I have my Pelican brief, and I'm going to hold it to last. What you see is the biggest.
You might as well say that shit now because I'm
swearing.
I mean, you don't want got an idea. You coming up with down? You wasn't thinking about this shit.
I'll give you time, Rodney. You got time. You second, third, to last. T, give me your biggest trade. What you think is going to be?
I think the biggest trade will definitely be on the East Coast, and I think that it's going to be one of these super teams that just got put together ain't going to last. I think it ends bad, like it ends bad for Brooklyn. It also will end bad for the 76ers, and I think look for Kyrie or Durant possibly splitting up, or look for the 76ers splitting up.
Okay, that's your big trade. Who's your big trade? If you see a big trade coming, Fig, who you see a big trade happening for?
This year, I think the Knicks finally land a marquee player, whether it be a Donovan Mitchell or possibly, I've been saying this for a while, Zion Mitchell, because he said it when he was drafted that he wanted to go to the Knicks. And when he found out it was the Pelicans, he didn't seem very happy about it at all. So I think Zion ends up in the New York jersey next year.
Okay, that's his big trade. What do you think is going to be a big trade? Is going to happen right here?
Williamson, Zion Williamson.
I think Zion should stay his ass down there in New Orleans. The boys is getting good as hell. But on a trade tip, I mean, this might be far fetched, but if KD come to his senses and realize he's number 2 in the world and goes out to LA and play with LeBron a season, you talk about. They double team, triple team. You can't do that when you got a LeBron on the floor and LeBron, an AD, and a KD. Oh my God,
That's too much D. Pause. I tell you
Lots
one
of D
thing,
on the
New
court.
York fan, I don't want to see Zion Mitchell come to the Knicks. I tell you that. You
Right,
know
right.
that.
I mixed up Donovan Mitchell with Zion.
You want them both?
Zion
You gonna match
Williamson.
them together?
Right. No.
Now, y'all, here's my. I got two. I think Klay Thompson could possibly get traded.
No.
No, that's not gonna happen. But go ahead.
Well, let me finish.
Okay.
About Pelican brief. I think, and I'm gonna tell you reasons why. I think Klay possibly get traded because the situation go well, and then they're having some friction on the team behind the scenes and everything else. I've been hearing that for the last 4 or 5 days. I've been hearing Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson having issues. Some of it even boiled over on the court the other day. I saw 2 or 3 incidents on the court. I said, so I think they're gonna trade Klay because Klay has injury issues. I think that's huge. And the other one I think is Bradley Beal. I think Bradley Beal is going to be out of Washington, and I think he's going to go to LA. That's what I think is going to happen. Those are my 2. They're Pelican briefs, but I think Bradley Beal is definitely going to be out, and I think Klay Thompson is. I'm 50-50 with Klay Thompson. Those are my 2. So
Frank, you get on my nerves, man. Out of all of the beautiful players, superstars in the league, you give us Russell Westbrook. Notice the Celtics didn't get Russell Westbrook. No, he gave him to us. You see that talent? You see how Frank do us?
Hold on, Fig. You know what the crazy thing is? If the Celtics were supposed to get literally, what's his name from the Lakers, they were, and he said, "No, I ain't going to him and his dad."
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis. No, his dad's like, "No, I'm not." And then the Lakers end up winning the championship that year. But I'm willing to bet if you circle back right now with him after everything went back and you go back in time, I bet you he would pick the Celtics right now. I bet you he would.
Oh, of course. But that's again, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah, but he would if he had picked him then he wouldn't have had a ring.
Yeah, but he'd have a couple more that's about to happen.
They ain't getting no ring this year. You crazy?
Rodney, you can't say that because if he would have picked them.
You think the Celtics about to get a ring this year?
Yep, I think so.
They might.
I think they got a chance.
How they gonna get out the East?
I don't know. The Celtics have the best defense in the
Milwaukee.
league. Huh?
They're injured.
Well, just one player.
One player
leading scorer is injured right now. Chris Middleton.
That's
Get past Milwaukee.
Wait,
that's
hold on. Who's injured, Frank?
Middleton.
Chris Middleton. Middleton's
Yeah,
injured.
that's it.
Yeah,
but
but
that's
the
just
big
Draymond.
fella, they don't have nothing for the big dog.
Okay. That's everybody was saying against KD and Kyrie too. But we'll see.
No, hold on.
KD and Kyrie ain't played together all season. It's not the same.
I gave the Nets a strong chance of beating the Celtics because I bet money on it. But the one pause that I had is they don't play defense, and I know that teams that don't play defense don't really
Celtics won't beat Miami.
But I thought they would beat the Celtics. That's a fact. Not a championship. I thought they'd beat the Celtics.
Okay. All right. I'm telling you right now, Celtics going to represent the East going to the finals. Just letting you know.
I don't. The way they playing now, the way
I'll
they
take that bet.
the Nets, I don't doubt it. But the one caveat that I got to throw out there, Frank, is that those other teams that they got to see next, those teams play defense though. So that's what we got to wait. We didn't see nobody play defense against the Celtics because the Nets, they were defensive deficient. So these next teams that they're about to face, they're going to play some defense now.
The Celtics beat out of the Chicago Bulls. They beat them out of the year series. They beat them 2-1 this year. The Celtics tied with Milwaukee 2-2, but the last game they lost, they didn't have any of their starters play, and so it was tied at 2-2. And then on top of that, the Heat, the Celtics tied up the Heat too. Also, and again, the Celtics had an injury, and they played the Heat two of them early in the season. And when they beat them the final 2 times they played them, they beat them both times. So yeah, I'm taking the Celtics.
We talking
The
about the regular
Celtics will be
season,
arguing
Frank.
with each other
really
before the
count
season
regular
over.
season?
You niggas gonna be cussing each other out on that court in front of the world like they always do.
Hey, Frank, Rodney got a point right there. Let me tell you something. You know the phrase "live by the sword, die by the sword." The sword for the Celtics is Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
So he could be what we just seen him be. That's the great side of Marcus. And then there's a whole other side of it.
All right, so
I don't know what they're gonna do with. I don't know what they're gonna do with Lopez, Giannis, Bobby Portis.
We'll see.
What they gonna do with them dudes? They all 7 feet tall. What they gonna do with them? This ain't Kevin
Ain't no
Durant
stopping
that weigh 100
Giannis.
pounds soaking wet with 4 bricks in his pocket. What they gonna do with Giannis and Antetokounmpo and them big monsters?
They were beating the Milwaukee Bucks by 20-something points with their bench players.
Okay.
Literally the last game they played them. And
All
they're bench players. And they still
Hey,
lost,
man.
but they were
You wanna
beating
run
them.
it back?
I hope this works out for you, Frank, because I hate to see you say it.
It's gonna. I'm not worried about it. I
Put
bet you a
that
whole
old, hey
dollar.
Rodney, put that old picture back up of Frank.
I bet you a whole $1. You know, how I might that. I might even bet you $2, Rodney.
We can go 20.
So, Rodney, I told you I don't bet $20. I don't bet $20.
Come on, dog.
Frank,
You don't
who are
believe in
you,
your
the
guys.
Duke?
That's all.
Yo, Frank is the
Trying to make
dude.
you do it.
How much y'all gonna bet? $1.
You don't believe in your guys. If you don't believe in them, that's okay.
It was the Dukes.
It was.
All right, so the next story, right before you, I'm gonna see you with that $2. How about my $2 to your 20? How about that? Right, throw that out.
No.
Yes, all right, and so let me finish my story thing.
Do you lose?
All right, so the next thing up, man. I don't know if you guys ended up seeing this, but Virginia's Attorney General office is investigating Washington Commanders' alleged financial impropriety because they had an open investigation that the Washington Commanders engaged into basically selling tickets and mixed matching the books and everything else. But now it's moved up from where it was before to Congress. It's moving one step closer to literally the United States government getting ready to be involved. Now, we all know what happens when the United States government gets ready to get involved. Some of the owners are going to band up on you, and they're going to say, you know what? You got to get ready to let go of that team. And I can see that happening with the Washington Commanders, T. Not a Pelican brief, facts. These are facts. What's your take on what the NFL should be doing and what the NFL is doing with the Washington Commanders and the Virginia Attorney General being involved, T? What's your take?
Well, we all know once the government get involved, somebody gets fondled by a councilman. Listen, the point is, here's the thing. Criminology is criminology, man. Like, the only thing, here's the difference in when the government gets involved. All jokes aside, we opening up all the books. When it's like agencies, just regular agencies and lawyers, you show what you want to show or what you need to show, on a need to show basis. But when the government comes in, they taking hard drives, computers, they pulling up emails from 1957, everything to plead and make their case. So now it's under the ultimate microscope. So we will see exactly what's going on. So trust me, heads will roll. There's going to be accountability once the government comes in, because the government is, when they step in, they're getting cut a hard check, big check. They don't come out the building unless it's a big government check involved. And that's what's about that.
I agree with that. Somebody said, hey, Frank holds the bet him a Pepsi. This is what I will bet you, Rodney Perry. This is what I will bet you. If the Celtics lose, I will put on a jersey and take a picture and put it on Facebook if they lose of your team, whatever team that is. But if the Celtics win, you got to put on a Celtics jersey and put it on Facebook, and you got to wear it and put it on Facebook.
I'm not buying no Celtics jersey.
Buy.
But they're not going nowhere.
I didn't say buy.
They're not going nowhere.
Go to the store like I did.
$20, Frank. Stop being cheap.
When I lost the Lakers bet, I had to put on a Lakers jersey and post a picture on Facebook.
$20, Frank.
All right, $20.
Done.
I got $20 in Celtics.
Yeah, that's fair. You could do that.
I could do it. But I don't want to do it. But I got
on a whole digital magazine. You rich.
I got $20 in the Celtics. I think they're gonna beat the Bucks.
Of course you do.
I got $20. So Fig, Washington Commanders, Daniel Snyder, you think he's gonna end up, doing the Dizzle thing? What you think? You think he's gonna be able to keep this NFL team? What you think, Vic?
Hey man, I'm gonna say this. I don't put nothing past the United States government.
My bad.
Go ahead.
Hold on. I don't put nothing past the United States government. When they put Martha Stewart in jail, I was like, anybody could go. So, and I'm gonna tell you this: when the United States government starts investigating you, any question they ask you, they already know the answer. You already guilty. When they say they're investigating, they have already investigated years and years and years. And then they just coming to present you to see if you're gonna lie to them or not, because that's some more charges that they put on you. Because to lie to them is some more charges that they tack on. So whenever they talk about they investigating, you already caught. It's like, yo, they got us. We
come out from the bushes, come from behind the bushes.
We caught. They caught us.
Come on now, Tyler. You too, Roddy. Let's go.
I'm still laughing at Frank. Like, stop doing that, Roddy. Roddy on the end.
Yeah, all of the microphone. Yeah. All right, go ahead, Roddy. What you think? And then he does it again.
You got all the women passing out.
Roddy, what you take?
Here it goes. Snyder is going to jail. There's some stuff out there that we haven't seen, and the fact that it's even going this federal route lets you know that it's some stuff. I mean, we already seen Gruden go down. This the same situation. So what's happening? If Snyder don't let go of that team and walk away, he may end up in jail, or he may end up in jail anyway.
Wow. Okay. They haven't even gone through the paperwork, all that stuff yet either. I think that's going to be the biggest issue. They ain't even got the paperwork or anything. So
I mean, it was these emails from the Commanders that caused all that stuff in Las Vegas.
Yeah, and people lost their jobs. So I think honestly, if those people lost their jobs or anything like somebody got to be held accountable. That's what I think. Somebody got to be held accountable. It looks like I would go through the rest of the stories, but right now it looks like we're getting ready to wrap up. So before we leave. A couple people were saying some stuff. I cannot thank you all for obviously watching the show, but I can't see what your names are when it says when it comes onto the thing and it says what it says. Let's see what it says to the comments when it says.
You got to do something to your page, Frank, because it's your page.
Like, look at this. I said that, Frank Holder. I don't know what to do. I mean, you tell me what to do.
I'm not sure.
Other names, I can see other names. Like, look, Trina.
That was Alfreda.
They may need to you might need to be friends with them or subscribe to the. It's something you could do.
That was Alfreda Jackson. That last one, Frank. I can see him.
Okay, hey, Alfreda, I can't see him. So, all right. So we're gonna get ready to roll out. I'm looking.
I'll let Fig do the shout outs from the other audience.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this. Somebody was in a comment yesterday and, somebody talking about recommending a show. What's my man's name? Courtney D. Vance has a show on AMC called 61st Street.
I heard it's really good.
That's really good. I recommend that to all our viewers, man. 61st Street.
What's it about? You can't just say that and not say what it's about.
It's based in Chicago. It's basically an athlete. A student athlete who's about to go to college. He's like top track star, gets caught up in some coincidental stuff on the street corner when the cops come to raid like the drug dealers, and he's just passing through and grabbing his brother up. He gets caught up in that. A cop accidentally dies, and now his whole life changes around. Courtney plays the lawyer who he's one of those legal aids, but he ended up quitting for the city to defend him because the city don't want to give him the case. So it's real dope.
Wow.
Shouts out to Courtney Vance. I saw him get a trumpet award this weekend, man. Really nice guy, man. Really, really great human being.
What's the name of it, Talent? 61st Street?
61st Street on AMC.
Talent, everybody out there, how they can follow you, bro?
Hey, follow your boy Talent Duck Comedian with a DA. Talent Duck Comedian on IG, or if you're on Twitter, I'm at It's Just Comedy. Holler at your boy anytime.
Okay.
Couple shout outs. Shout out to my son Daniel for being on the show today. And shout out to D Wade buying a piece of oh God, what's the team, man? The one with Donovan Mitchell, the one that we just talked about.
Utah.
The Utah Jazz. He has a minority ownership. Dwayne Wade has minority ownership with the Utah Jazz. So shout out to you to Dwayne Wade for being able to do that.
So that's what we're doing now. We're doing shout outs to people who buying teams.
Hey man, no, because that's the story we didn't cover, man. So that's big.
It's not new. That's why I ain't cover it. It's not new.
Wow.
Go ahead, Rodney.
I don't know if I want to be a part of this. Like the way it felt. Hey, yo, shouts out to D Wade's daughter, who is dating a young man that used to be a boy, a girl. Anyway, they figured it out, and I'm at Rodney Perry Live on all social media.
Yo, that's the show. The show's called Box Seats. I thought Fig was gonna shout out the people who are watching, like Sharonda and
okay. My bad. Yes, because
too late now.
Sharonda, Drew, everybody that watched the show, we appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Not only for watching the show, for also commenting and participating. Thank you so much. Without you, this ain't possible.
Thank you.
It's absolutely possible. Definitely.